KREM 2 Morning News begins now.
3 brand new middle schools are coming to Spokane. The land is available through a bond approved by voters. We explain what it entails and where the schools will be.
And this afternoon, we are expected to see the warmest temperatures so far this year. We're also expecting a good chance of some thunderstorm activity to pick up in the evening hours. Details are in your forecast coming up.
Former Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens will be laid to rest today at the Arlington National Cemetery. We look back at his influence as a justice. 5:30 now. Welcome back to KREM 2 Morning News. Happy to have you with us. I'm Jen York.
And I'm Evan Irani. We are starting off our morning with some warm temperatures already. Let's see, we're at 67 degrees right now. Good chance that we'll gain almost 30 additional degrees as the day goes on.
We're looking at one of the hottest days of the year so far today.
Yeah, yesterday brought us to a record. Yesterday we saw 92 degrees. Previously, the hottest we had been was 91 degrees. Today, our forecast high, 95 degrees. So it should be the warmest day that we've seen in Spokane in 2019. Also, one of the very few days in 2019 that has brought those temperatures in central Washington to the triple digits. But of course, ahead of this, with temperatures warming up, with that humidity dropping into the next couple hours, we've got a red flag warning that will take effect. Now, the thing is, this goes into effect for a variety of reasons. Not only are those temperatures going to be hot, but wind is also going to pick up. That brings an additional threat of wildfires with any dry brush around. Along with all of that, we've got the chance of thunderstorms picking up in the afternoon and evening hours. Really, overnight is going to be our best bet for it. That's why at 6 p.m. this red flag warning takes effect. It continues all the way until 5 a.m. tomorrow. Now, notice that even areas outside of the pink on your screen still showing a significant threat for wildfire danger, just not necessarily included in the red flag warning. So really, across the region, we should be aware of our critical fire danger out there and that those temperatures are really going to warm up. Now, already in the overnight hours, you may have noticed it's not too cool outside. We didn't get too cold in the overnight. We are staying in the upper 60s almost across the board. 60 right now in Coeur d'Alene, 67 in Spokane, 70 degrees already in Wenatchee, and 64 in Othello. It is only going to be about another hour or so before we start to see these temperatures really begin to warm up. Before the noon hour, we're expected to already be in the upper 70s. By about 1 p.m., we're expected to hit about 80 degrees. Now, you can see that on the hour by hour. This is actually taking place a lot quicker than we originally expected. 88 degrees by noon, 90s in store by about 1 p.m. And so that'll continue all the way through the afternoon. Our high of 95 in Spokane, probably going to hit just around that 4 o'clock hour. And notice that our threat of thunderstorms doesn't pick up until after about 6 p.m. Right now, the timing on that looks to be around 9 and 10 p.m. as our possible threat for it. So notice that the sun shines all the way through. Those wind gusts don't really pick up until about 6 p.m. And that also is when we start to see the possibility of some thunderstorm activity. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in detail. We'll also take a look at where your best bet is for dry weather and for calmer weather going into the next couple days, where those temperatures could finally be cooling down. Jen, I'll send things back to you.
All right, Evan, thank you. It is 5:33 now. 3 brand new middle schools are coming to Spokane. It's thanks to a new agreement between the city and the school district. The district won't have to buy the new land to do it. That agreement was just passed by the city council. KREM 2's Casey Decker was at City Hall for the meeting and has the details on what this means.
Well, the crux of the agreement is a land swap. The district is getting 2 plots of land from the city, and the city getting a plot from the district. This will allow the district to continue with its plan stemming from the bond last year to build or rebuild 6 middle schools.
The city of Spokane is giving Spokane Public Schools land near the South Hill Dog Park and over by G Prep. Those plots will be developed into 2 brand new middle schools. The South Hill School is expected to be done by August 2023, the Northeast School by August 2022. A 3rd new middle school will be built near Joe Albee Stadium. That land is technically already owned by the district. That one should also open in 2022. In return, the city is getting a plot of land on East Sprague, where they'll build a new library called The Hive. The Library District and Parks Department are also involved in what is actually a package of agreements. And they extend beyond just the land swap, aiming to establish longer-term relationships between the agencies. That means a lot more shared use of various public facilities. All parties applauded the cooperation at the meeting.
It really is an innovative approach that, as far as I'm concerned, we haven't seen in the state of Washington. And it really, I don't know if people understand how much money it saves a school district, because they don't have to spend millions of dollars to buy land.
Nonetheless, the agreement has stirred up some questions. Why are 3 new schools needed, and how can the district afford to build while at the same time laying off teachers? The schools are being built because the district is moving 6th graders from elementary schools to middle schools. That's in part to try to reduce elementary class sizes, but it means they need way more middle school space. And as for how they're paying for it, that money comes from the bond that passed last year. Bonds have a special legal status. Money raised through bonds can only be spent on physical construction. It's an entirely separate pot of money from the rest of the budget. It cannot legally be used on salaries or programming, just buildings. Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
Coming up on 5:36 now, here are the top stories that you need to know before you start your day. Drought conditions in North Idaho are worsening. Boundary County and half of Bonner County are listed at severe drought. This is according to the U.S. Drought Monitor. This puts that area at a high wildfire risk as compared to the rest of the state this summer. More than 60% of Washington is also in a drought. Longtime Spokane dentist James Shelby is serving 15 months in home confinement. This is after pleading guilty to drug charges. He will also serve 3 years probation. Authorities say he wrote phony prescriptions for years, distributing some 17,000 opioid pills. A judge is expected to decide today if the suspected Freeman High School shooter will be tried as an adult. The ruling is expected at 1:30 this afternoon. According to the law, if the shooting suspect is tried as a juvenile, he would be released at the age of 21 without post-supervision. He was 15 years old at the time of the shooting. He will turn 18 this fall. Crews are replacing unique turtle crossing signs in North Idaho. They say thieves keep stealing them. Instead, they will be replaced with generic game crossing signs. Replacing just one sign costs about $700. 5:37 now. Washington's first J-turn opens later today in Spokane. This is at Highway 395 in Thorpe. We do want to take a live look at that new intersection this morning. WashDOT crews say it is one of the most dangerous areas for local drivers. Crews have been working on it since May 13th. So here's how it works. The new pattern blocks the median and forces drivers to turn right. Drivers will no longer wait in the median to make a left turn. Now drivers will turn right onto north or south directions on Highway 395. Then they will merge into the far left lane and make a U-turn in the direction that they want to travel, thus making a J-turn. Spokane will be the first city in the state to use the J-turn pattern. If it works, there could be more installed in other areas. Former Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens will be laid to rest today at the Arlington National Cemetery. He died last week at the age of 99. Stevens served on the Supreme Court until he retired in 2010. He joined as a moderate justice, but during his tenure, Stevens became a more liberal leader, supporting abortion rights and limits to the death penalty. He was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2012. His gravestone will note his years as a justice and his time served in the Navy. It is 5:38 now. The Area 51 raid has caused a lot of stirring on social media. And while the Air Force is preparing for a large crowd in the desert, an animal shelter in Texas is also getting in on the action. We explain that in 3 minutes.